there, Cancer, and welcome to your May 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, entrepreneurs, and anyone who's working on their personal growth, creativity, self-expression, or spirituality in any form. So if any of those areas of life are important for you right now, I encourage you to go ahead and keep listening. I also want to say that you can use these readings for your sun, moon, or your rising sign, and it's also possible if sometimes they don't resonate, especially at the beginning of the month. But I feel pretty confident based on a lot of the feedback that I've gotten over the years of doing these readings that sometimes the reading actually makes more sense at the end of the month when you come back. So I encourage you to go ahead and come back to this video at the end of May if you want to really experiment with that. Okay, so Cancer, while I was tuning in for you during meditation, I was being given an image of a honeycomb. And this kind of gave me almost a dualistic impression. So the first impression that I got from that was that you could be seeing where you naturally fit in some kind of circumstance in your life. So you could be looking at a particular area of focus for yourself in your life and realizing that you either fit in really well within that construct, or you might be looking for ways that you can get yourself into a situation that better matches your natural interests, your natural personality, your natural tendencies. For example, if you are more of an introvert, but you have been doing a lot of more like personal work, you might be looking at ways to sort of scale that back and find ways to be maybe doing a little bit more writing or editing or behind the scenes stuff. And vice versa. So it's really just about kind of feeling like where you fit in and where you naturally feel that your strengths are emphasized and where you can kind of, I guess the impression that this gives me is almost that it's easier this month for you, Cancer, to take a step back and conceptualize where you think you would be the best suited in your life. And this could even be in relationships as well. Like looking back and thinking for yourself, like what would be the best situation for me in a relationship, or what would be the best situation for me in a career path or in a professional position. Like where would that kind of match my natural tendencies and my natural strengths, as opposed to kind of finding yourself kind of in a position just by default and trying to mold yourself to that. I guess like that feels a little bit more random and like kind of like trying to just mold yourself into something that is just not going to necessarily fit in with who you naturally feel that you are and what your kind of more just spontaneous tendencies may be. So that's one thing to definitely consider that when it comes to relationships, when it comes to job search, if you're on a job search right now, when it comes to who you talk to, who you spend time with. All of those things I think are going to be like potential areas of intention for you right now. And I think that you are going to be able to find sort of right where you belong. And I think that actually maybe some of the things that have been going on in your life recently have been happening really to help you find that locale or like that better position or that better fit for you. So I also got this kind of sense as well of like, because it was a honeycomb, I feel like the bee creature is a very industrious creature. It's a very, it's a kind of a creature of the sun, I think of, It's a creature that is very solar, very out there. It's a daytime creature. It's always going about like the busyness of whatever the bee has to do. They're just always kind of buzzing around doing their thing. So I think that May could also feel that way for you. I think that you could also feel like you're pretty productive, whatever you're doing, and whether it's something that you're doing for yourself or you're doing in a more like career setting where you have a team or you have like a group of people that you're working with. I think that this is going to be a time where you naturally sort of feel drawn to being productive and energized. Okay, so let's take a look at your cards and we'll get some more insight. Cancer, spirits, please come forward and give us clear guidance for Cancer. Okay, and we're also going to get you your Animal Spirit Oracle cards. Cancer, Cancer, for your loving guidance. Cancer, Cancer, yeah. And we're also going to get you a Bob Ross message. I absolutely love this little deck, and he has such a bright and beautiful spirit. I think it's a wonderful addition to these readings. So let's take a look at your Animal Spirit Oracle cards. Wow, so we've got the shark. Wow, crossed by the panther. See, this is where some of that active energy that I was picking up is coming in. These are both creatures that have a certain amount of ferocity to them, right? Both of them are creatures of prey, meaning that they are sort of high up in the dominance hierarchy of their ecosystem. Right? Not a lot of creatures are going to mess with a shark in the ocean willingly. Not a lot of creatures in the jungle are going to mess with the panther willingly. So these are both creatures that represent a certain degree of autonomy, a certain degree of sovereignty, and a great deal of personal power as well. So now that I'm looking at this, I think one of the best pieces of advice that I can give you this month, Cancer, is to really go for your goal right now. I think it's important for you to be a little more assertive, even if you don't necessarily have a high degree of assertiveness naturally present in your personality. A lot of Cancers are very nurturing, very compassionate, very creative, and you also have a tendency to be a little hard to get to know. So all of that, like that big constellation of things, comes in to sort of give us an image, and of course it depends on other chart factors, but an image of the general Cancerian archetype as one, you're the crab, so you go in your shell and you have this sort of safe space within yourself, and there can be a tendency to sort of withdraw rather than to strike, right? And I think that when we're looking at these cards, it's like if there's something that interests you, if there's something that you have your eye on, but it would require you to be a little bit more ambitious or, kind of going after it than you normally would. I think that these cards are really affirming for you that would be a good decision at this time. And I think that there's a lot to be gained. There's a lot to be gained out of being assertive and having a take charge attitude and really kind of owning your desire, Cancer. If you are interested in something, if you've got your eye on something, just ask for it, take those actions, go for it, put yourself out there, because no matter what, you are going to get some movement on whatever that is. And I think that it's also facing fears is a really big theme with these cards. And also with the shark, there's an element of exposure. There's an element of bringing something up from the depths. So you could be truth-telling this month in some kind of situation. You could be drawing attention to something that's true that not many people are talking about, or you could be popularizing an idea that has been shadowed in some way, and this could be on a social level, like with social media or internet stuff, or it could even be within an organization or even a family unit. So you're gonna have the sword this month, Cancer. You're going to be having the sword, which means that you're going to be powerful, but it also means that you're going to want to speak the truth. I think that the truth is really guiding you this month, and that really may be where your loyalties lie, is actually to the truth, which might mean that you're a little bit less aligned with other people that maybe you haven't criticized in the past, but this month you could be holding them accountable, I guess. So there's a little bit of an energy of you holding yourself accountable, and there's an energy of holding other people accountable as well. Let's take a look at your cards. Yeah, so we've got 7 of Wands with the Hanged Man, first week of May. Second week of May, we have 4 of Pentacles and the 2 of Cups. Third week, we've got 2 of Wands and the Star. Fourth week, we've got 4 of Wands and the Queen of Cups. So again, really beautiful cards, really beautiful energy. It starts off a little slower, and then the energy definitely picks up, and we see possibly even some kind of celebration happening in the latter portion of May here, which looks really good. But let's start with the first week. So we've got Seven of Wands and the Hanged Man. This really speaks to, I want to say, like coping with a little bit of resistance in the first week of May. And it's interesting because that full moon in Scorpio on May 7th is going to be culminating in your 5th house, which is a good house. It's in harmony with your sign. It's a fellow water sign. Also, the moon is your natural ruler. And so there's a sense of, this very powerful creative energy coming in, but you may feel it at first as a little bit of tension. With the Seven of Wands, you could feel like there's either tension interpersonally in your life in the first week of May, or you could feel that there's almost this sense of push-pull within you, right? Because on the surface, or on one level, we have the Hanged Man, which is like hanging out with discomfort, right? And then the Seven of Wands is showing this like sense of fighting back against something else as an internal energy. It can be like struggling with inner tensions. Like on the one hand, you want to push forward, and on the other hand, you want to maybe retreat. So there's a sense of like hanging out and waiting and enduring a little bit of discomfort in the first week of May. Creatively speaking, I think that this can actually be what I would call like a creative tension, because it's forcing you to think differently. With the Hanged Man, he's obviously upside down. So if you're looking at the world upside down, you're going to see things differently than you did when you were standing right side up. So if there is some resistance or tension or conflict in your life in the first week of May, I want you to make it a journaling practice every night to really sit down and think to yourself, how could I look at the events of this tension or this, whatever challenges I'm experiencing? What new perspectives are arising for me out of these? Because there's always some kind of new perspective happening anytime that we're being acted upon by an outside force, which is the Seven of Wands. So whatever this is, I want you to really take this day by day and write this down, Cancer. What are the new perspectives that are evolving within you? What do you know now in the first week of May that you didn't know before? And really keep on track with that. Keep a hold of that. So by the second week of May, we have the Four of Pentacles with the Two of Cups. So there is a sense of like withholding possible within a relationship. With the Two of Cups is like showing these people coming together, right? And they're tentatively reaching out. And there's like a healing that can be taking place. But then we have the Four of Pentacles. So one of the things that this could be relating to is it could be you, Cancer, wanting to put your toe in the water with something that may connect you more with others. Could be professional or it could be personal. But it's like you're wanting to kind of tentatively put your foot in the water, put your toe in the water or something. But then you're also kind of holding back and going back into your shell. And there's wisdom in that, right? Like crabs have a shell for a reason. And so there could be something good out of this, but I also want you to be really aware of where the withdrawal is good for you and where it's maybe inhibiting you from having the connections that you really want to have, okay? The other thing that this could mean is it could be that you have this new connection with someone or something, but it's important for the time being to protect that connection and not talk about it. Maybe it would be like if you're dating someone new and your family has kind of like a history of not really liking the people that you date, or you have like a history of people around you kind of getting too involved in your relationships, let's say, and that maybe was like an unhealthy pattern in the past. I could see something about that in the second week of May relating to these cards, because it's like there's this new connection forming, and I don't necessarily want to just start talking about it to everyone right away because I want to get it strong within itself first. Like, I want it to get to the point where it has like all four legs, like a table, and then once the relationship or the new spark of inspiration, the new idea for a book, the new, anything that's connective and sparking energy in your life can be related here. It's like, let that get stronger first. But you have to be the one to guard it. Like, you have to be the one to allow it space to grow and individuate. So that's what I'm getting about the second week of May. Let's look at the third week. So we have the Two of Wands with the Star. So what I get from these is that I feel like there's a heavy theme of navigation with these cards because the stars were primarily, in the past used for navigation purposes. They were used as an astral kind of mapping so that sailors and explorers and people who are taking a huge risk out at sea could follow the pattern of the stars in the night sky and hopefully not get lost. So when we see that next to the Two of Wands, which shows someone kind of holding the globe in their hands and they're looking out over this broad expanse of new territory, what that really says to me, Cancer, is that you're charting a new course for yourself in the third week of May. And I think that you are tapping into all of the different realms of wisdom that you could possibly connect with in order to help you do this. And I think that it's going to be a time where there's a certain degree of synchronicity. Like, you might be planning a strategy, for example, and then you realize that there's some element of your plan that all of a sudden is connecting to something else that's kind of happening in your life in a very unconnected way, like it's an acausal connection, right? And I think that this is like reaffirming, like the purpose of that synchronicity is to reaffirm the course that you've charted for yourself. It's to reaffirm the trajectory and the validity of that trajectory. So very strategic week in the third week of May. It's all about making good choices for yourself. It's all about thinking big and broad and futuristic. And I think that you are going to see little synchronicities and signs and messages confirming that you are on the right track in that third week of May. So that's going to feel good. By the fourth week of May, we have this celebration energy going on. So I'm not sure what this is specifically referring to for you. It could be that you are able to go somewhere for the first time in a while. Maybe some of us could be looking forward to that, given that many of us have been self-quarantined or just having to be at home a lot lately. The Four of Wands could show like an excitement of being able to celebrate something. It could be a birthday party for a friend. I know you guys are going to have your season beginning in June, but that'll be a little while after this. So I think this is something separate. I think this is about, with the Queen of Cups as well, it's almost feeling to me like a little bit of a victory of your connection to your intuition, because you're a water sign and the Queen of Cups is a watery, intuitive energy. And seeing these cards together, it's almost like you could be celebrating something that is like spiritual in nature or something that is representative of like movement forward or progress in a direction that has to do with development of your intuitive gifts or development of your creative talents or development of your ability to plan, imagine, and visualize new projects for yourself. Like, there's something celebratory about the Queen of Cups element of you. There's something about you feeling more seen or more heard or just more connected somehow with the Queen of Cups. And it could also be a helpful woman at the end of May that you're maybe doing a reading with, or that you are receiving coaching from or consulting with. It could also be a teacher, or you could be becoming a teacher, Cancer. But there's a really good energy around this. And, you know, if you've got another water sign female, like a Pisces or a Scorpio female in your life, it could be that person's like something they're going through, and you're kind of celebrating what they're doing as well. That looks really good. Aw. So your Bob Ross message is, look around, look at what we have. Beauty is everywhere. You only have to look to see it. So this is really nice. This is really reaffirming the journey that you're on and the beauty of that journey. I think that this is really pointing you in the direction of appreciating the scenery around you, like appreciating each moment and really seeing that life is opening up for you, and that there's so much to appreciate in that process. And I know that we're going through such a hard time globally right now and economically right now, but I feel like your energy is actually, it's dominantly one of gratitude. And I think when you have that gratitude vibration, things do have a way of working out. And I think that that's going to be something that really impacts the flow of your life and the way that you perceive the flow of your life. So it's really beautiful. You guys have one of the best spreads I've seen so far. So I hope that this energy is supportive to you from this reading. I hope this gives you something useful to think about as you go through the month of May. I'm sending you tons of love. If you enjoyed this reading and you want to say thank you, please give this reading a thumbs up. That always really helps. You can also leave me a comment, leave me a little purple heart emoji, or just write purple hearts. I love to get those kind of comments, because, you know, even if you're a little reserved like me and you don't post a lot online, outside of, you know, obviously I post videos, but I always feel like shy when I'm gonna leave a comment or something for someone. So if you just want to say like that you're with me still and you're enjoying the reading, definitely write me a little comment that just says purple hearts, or leave me a little purple heart emoji. Those comments really warm my heart, and it kind of gives me this like unspoken bond of affection with you, where I just feel like, yeah, we don't need a ton of words, we just feel each other. And it's also really helpful to the YouTube algorithms for my videos. Any engagement or interaction on my channel really supports my channel's growth in the algorithms. So all of those things combined for that to be just such a sweet thing. And of course, I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on the reading as well. If you want to share any connections that you noticed or any feedback, I would absolutely love to hear from you guys. I hope you have an amazing month in May. I'll put the link below for the moon mapping personal astronomy course that is coming up beginning on the Scorpio full moon. All that information, again, will be below the video. So if you want to check that out, it includes and synthesizes a lot of things that I've worked on with homeopathy, astrology, and personal self-care. So that information will be below. I hope you guys have an amazing month in May. Thank you so much for being here. I will talk to you very soon, Cancer, and see you in the next one. Bye.